Hey everybody, I just wanted to give a couple examples of the homework that was due tonight for metric conversions. I've been receiving a lot of questions on how to do stuff. I know that learning remotely isn't ideal, so I'm just going to give out some more examples. And if you haven't already, please watch the YouTube video that I have previously posted into Google Classroom. But let's go ahead and get started. So just a reminder, this is 1-3. Additional metric conversion review. Okay, so I'll go over the first one. So we have 500 milliliters and they are asking you to convert it to liters. So like all of these problems, you have to start with our little jingle, okay, our metric conversion chart, okay? So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And you have to recognize your base unit. So because we see this big L right here, we know that we are dealing with a unit of volume. Okay, so our base unit is going to be a unit of volume. So whether it's liters or centimeters cubed, don't worry about that yet. We'll just worry about liters. Let's just deal with liquids. So if it's liters, just know that we are dealing with a volume conversion. Okay, so we are here, we are at the milliliter mark, and we are trying to get to our base unit, which is liters. Okay, so to do that, we need to move to the left. How many spaces? Let's count. 1, 2, 3 to the left. Okay, so now we just write out our original number again, and we have to put in the decimal point this time so that we understand our starting point. Okay, so we have 500 milliliters, and now let's move that decimal over 3 to see how many liters we have. So 1, 2, 3, that new decimal point place is right there. So for 500 milliliters converted to liters, we would get 0.5 liters. Okay. So let's go to another example. So let's work with a length measurement. Okay, so I'm gonna move down to number 7. So it is giving us a 5.5 centimeters, and it wants us to convert it to millimeters. Okay, so again, we start the same way with our little jingle. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And we have to recognize our starting point. So we are starting at centimeters. So let's put a little box around centimeters. And we want to get to millimeters. And that is actually right here. Okay, so to get from centimeters to millimeters, we have to move to the right. So let's go ahead and draw an arrow to the right. Okay, so that is the amount of spaces that we have to move our decimal point. So again, let's rewrite the number that we are given, and let's go ahead and move that decimal point over to where it needs to be to make this conversion true. So our ending total for 5.5 centimeters into millimeters is 55 millimeters. Okay? All right. I'm going to move on. I'm going to go to our second page, and I'm going to do one of the part 2 problems. So it's when we were given a measurement and then we were asked to convert it to metric units, but we were asked to convert it to 3 different prefixes. Okay, so I'm going to do number 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So we are given, so again, this is number 4 on part 2, so just the second page. I'll just write second page. And you can just see it in that table there. Okay, so number 4, we have 77.8 decameters, so DAM. and we are asked to convert it to meters, hectometers, and kilometers. So let's just start with our meters, okay? So we are just going to start with meters. So to do so, we have to remember our jingle. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And then we have to recognize where we are starting from. So this is decimeter, and this is decameter. So that is where we want to start. So we'll put a little box around decameter. And where do we want to go? We want to get to meters. And we know that our base units are grams, liters, and meters. So let's just put a little box around that B that stands for our base unit. So we are just trying to go from decameters to meters. So we have to move to the right. So we have to move our decimal point 1 point to the right. So we are going to go ahead and rewrite our number. Then we're going to start to move that decimal over to the right. So its new position is right behind the 8. So our number is now 778 meters. Okay, so the conversion from 77.8 decameters is 778 meters. And again, all we did was move that decimal place over because with SI units, they are all base 10. So all we have to do is move that decimal place over to get the right answer. So let's move on to part 2 of that problem. So again, we start with 77.8 decameters. And then we are asked to convert it to hectometers. So again, King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. We have to recognize that we are starting from deca, and we want to get to hecto. Okay, so we have to recognize that that is one step up from deca, so we have to move to the left 1 point. Okay, or 1 decimal place. So we rewrite our number that we are originally given, and we move that decimal place to where it needs to be for our conversion. So our new number is 7.78 hectometers. Okay, so we started with 77.8 decameters, and now we have 7.78 hectometers right there. And I'm just going to do the third part right up here. So again, we start with 77.8 DAM, and now we are asked to convert it to kilometers. All right, so King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So we have to recognize that we are starting in the decameter, and we want to get to kilometer. So how many spots? 1, 2, to the right, to the left, and we rewrite our number and keeping the same decimal point space, and now we just move that decimal point to where it needs to be for our conversion. So we would have 0.778 kilometers. Okay, so reach out to me tomorrow morning if you have any questions on this. We can definitely do a couple of examples in class if we need to. But again, watch my previous YouTube video on this stuff and reach out to me if you have any questions, and I hope to see you all again soon.